What's going on, everybody? Leo Cannell here with today's Seven Figures Club podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, boy, it's been a crazy last few days. Today's topic that we're going to take a deep dive into is marketing secrets. And we hear this term all the time, marketing secrets, and all these magical ways that we can market and sell and grow our business and our products and services. And I'm going to talk about the 3 top marketing secrets that a lot of people in a lot of industries are talking about. We're going to talk about webinars. Then we're going to talk about the sales funnels, right? Where you've got maybe a video sales funnel to sell something. And then we're going to talk about what I believe to be the most effective way to sell a great big product or service, challenges. So let's get ready to rumble.
There are over 32 million businesses in the U.S. and over 90% of them will never break 7 figures in annual sales. So how do we as entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs break into that 7 figures club? This podcast will relentlessly share the secrets, strategies, and tactics I've used to create 3 multi-7 figures businesses and bring in even more successful entrepreneurs than me to share their inspirational stories and tactics to success. You can create your dream business and life right now. So buckle up and let's go.
All right, you guys, hope you're having an amazing second quarter. We are now in the second quarter of 2021. And as we are heading into April here and checking out where we're at, hopefully you can look back on the first quarter of 2021 and you see some great results there, and you see that you're moving forward, that you're moving towards the big goals and aspirations and targets that you set for yourself in 2021. Because if you didn't make progress in the first quarter, then now you got to really pick it up here in the second quarter to get where you want to go. So in my life, we've got just a lot of things happening all at the same time. My 17-year-old just got notified that he earned a 4-year scholarship to the University of Utah, where I went to school. So that's exciting, although I don't always have the belief in that higher education model. I'm super impressed and grateful that he was able to, qualify for that merit-based scholarship. So that's what's been going on in the family life here. And then with the business, we've got some fascinating things going. For the last few days, I started a 7-day challenge that I'm putting on, that my company's putting on, called the 7-Day Funding CEO Challenge. And it's really just been this magical experience. And when I tell you a little bit later more of the details, I'll just kind of drop this, that I'm currently carrying about a negative $20,000 balance on that challenge in terms of the marketing spend. And I believe wholeheartedly it's going to come out, phenomenal, and we're going to build this amazing community out of it. But I am holding a negative $20,000 in terms of upfront monies received minus my marketing spend with Facebook ads. So that's kind of your little hook there to see, why I'm okay being down about 20 grand right now, and why I believe it's going to turn around big time and be one of the best investment decisions that I've made in our business. But for years we've all seen the webinars, we've seen the workshops that are available, that people are, promoting something, and they're going to teach you about a certain business, opportunity, industry, product, or service, or training, whatever it might be. And so that's how for the last several years the people have sold things. They've sold things online. They've sold things with e-commerce. They've sold things with so many different industries and profession. And especially, if you have an information-based product or service, or some sort of training or organization that teaches people how to build a certain type of business, or, how to learn a certain part of marketing or sales or whatever it is. And so, I obviously did a lot of research, spent a lot of money trying to learn and understand the tactics and the strategies and what it takes to be able to put on a successful webinar. And so I put on my first webinar, I think it was back in 2018. So, I mean, it's been about 3 years. And of course, I've spoken at live events and talked to people about business funding and the different opportunities to finance and grow their business and build credit and all those types of things. And so, but a webinar is a little bit different because you're trying to bring people in virtually. You don't get the facial expressions, you don't get the engagement necessarily from the audience that's verbal, but what you may get, of course, can be comments, in a chat box and that type of thing. And as you're trying to put together a successful webinar, it starts with a great hook. You've got to have a great hook to bring people in, and it needs to be curiosity based. If you give away, what the entire thing is about, then you're actually doing yourself a disservice, and people are maybe not going to sign up for it quite as quickly. And so people sign up for webinars and workshops looking for a result, looking for an answer to a problem that they're running, up against. And if your headline indicates that they might be able to solve that problem, then that's a great way of doing it. The problem that a lot of people have with webinars is years ago, I think it was a little bit easier as it was kind of a newer concept to roll out a webinar and be able to sell a $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 product. And I would say, based on my experience and what I've seen happening in the marketplace, running on a webinar and bringing someone into your world for the very first time and trying to sell an expensive product like that can be very difficult. And so when I've started, I had built about a $1,000 product. It was a training to teach you how to grow and build your business. And the problem that I had with it was I didn't actually have proof of concept that was what people wanted. I hoped it was what they wanted. I prayed that it was what they needed. And I thought there would be value there, but very few people ended up buying that webinar, and I didn't really make any money. In fact, I lost money running that webinar. And what I figured out was the reason there really wasn't anything like that out there was maybe in the way that I positioned it, because I have seen some people come out with something similar with some of the products that we run, and I think they're making money on it. I'm not sure, but I see them advertising. But the reason I think that I didn't was, number one, there was no proof of concept that I could model after. There was no, as Russell Brunson says, no funnel hacking that I could specifically do for a similar product and already know that it was going to work. And so that was my first issue. And then my second issue was, before you spend a lot of money, you really need to have a community, and you need to be able to reach out and say, hey, if I did this, would you pay for it? Would you be interested in it? And as I've been reading, The Common Path to Uncommon Success by John Lee Dumas, that's kind of something that he talked about, getting that proof of concept, because he did the same thing where he built an entire program out and then it didn't sell and he just lost money with it. And the next time he's like, I'm going to, have this community and share the idea of it, and then see if people will put their money where their mouth is and say, yeah, I would buy that, and actually, prepay for it, and then he would build it out. And that's obviously the way to do it. But again, going back to this webinar concept, is you want to be able to model someone in your industry, hopefully, who's selling something very similar, if not the same thing that you are. That's a big step. And then number two, as you model somebody that's already built something out, then you need to also start at a price point that makes sense. And I think gone are the days where you can charge $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 just for getting someone to a webinar, unless it's really a warmed up market. So I don't think you can necessarily go put this webinar on Facebook, run Facebook ads, and run people to a webinar and sell them a $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 product. People are too aware of what they call scams and products that are unproven, and they're just very cynical, and rightfully so, and hesitant to put their money into products like that when they've done that too often and not seen results. What does seem to be more effective is if your webinar can get them into an introductory product, then that may make sense. The other thing that I've been seeing in the marketplace is people just have no attention span, right? So if you're, have a 60, 90-minute webinar, even to sell like a $100 or $200 entry-level product, I mean, it may be very difficult to get people to stay for that webinar. And so the shorter you can make it while still highlighting the pain and the problem that people have that they're facing, and pointing out with proof, with evidence, with examples and case studies of how you've solved their problem for them, and then make them a special irresistible offer and do it within 15 to 30 minutes, I think your odds for success in today's marketplace are actually better if you can do that. The other thing that helps is if you have a good, presence on Google with online reviews and positive reviews where people can, pause the webinar, or they can wait at the checkout page and do a little research and be like, okay, don't see anything bad here, so I'm going to give it a whirl. Then I think that's really helpful, to get people to move forward. Obviously, trials are a great way to get people into things as well. And so it was about a year ago that I launched my latest webinar series, and it was teaching people how they could join our organization, and I would train them on how to, build a funding business from home. And so I started that out, and it was just a webinar model. I modeled after, a competitor in our industry who appeared to be doing it successfully. And I, of course, put my own touch on it, my own custom everything on it. But I followed a lot of the steps that they did, and similar stuff and the patterns and the offer that they put together. And it started to make money, but really it was more or less breaking even. But at the end of the day, it was making our company money because we were increasing our network of business coaches and people who could send in business for clients that needed funding. So even though on the front end, I might not be making money on the webinar, and I was usually losing a little bit, on the back end, we were making out really well as we grew our network, increased our lead flow, and were able to help way more clients with funding. And so that was kind of the first foray, and the webinar thing, I almost feel like it's almost run its course. Unless you have a big community and a big social media following, and you can hype up a big event and make it live and answer people's questions, then just bringing in cold traffic and people on Facebook or even YouTube, it's going to be difficult to do that. But what you can do, and the problem with the webinar is, it's this event. And again, people have short attention spans, so it almost seems like the quicker you can move them forward, the better. So I started out with this $197 webinar, and I think I had a 30-day money-back guarantee with it, and very rarely did anyone ever ask for a refund on that. And so with that $197, I got to a point where I was pretty close to breaking even, but still not being, really profitable on the front end with it. But on the back end, all the funding deals in our network, like, it was working out great. So that's where I was with it. And then I started to research more people in the industry, and I found another model where basically this group would have a $1 trial for 3 days and then $97 a month. And then they would ask people later on at various points in their software system, in their training, in their email communication, to attend another workshop where they could actually, earn a much bigger commission. And it was a $997 one-time upgrade, and they wouldn't have to pay the monthly fee anymore. And so that became my latest funnel, right? And so I started out with that $1 trial, and then we had the $97 a month, and then we had the $997 upsell that I would introduce about a week in. Of course, as they used my software and training, they would see opportunities where I would put in there, make more money, and then they could upgrade to that $997 package and get more, live training on a weekly basis, more answers to questions, more support, bigger commission, just a lot better package. And that was the whole idea, to get them to upgrade to that package. And so at that point then, I was starting to legitimately break even and even cover all the marketing spend costs of the guys that manage the Facebook group. So I'm super excited. Things are going well. And I think, well, why don't I add, a $5,000 level and really blow these people away and show them how they can make 100% commissions, and they can make bigger commissions than anywhere else in the marketplace. And my bet was that ultimately that they would be a better funding partner moving forward, that we would see better results, even though our margins would be much tighter, and we would offer even more advanced training, build them a custom website, offer even better software to, facilitate everything, just make it so valuable and so irresistible. And so that was the idea. And then we started to actually make a profit on the front end, which was exciting because I knew we were profiting on the back end, and now we were actually profiting on the front end of these sales systems that I'd put together. But it still was kind of slow. It still was not as efficient because at the end of the day, we're trying to get people to scale up to the top of our pyramid. And if you've read Russell Brunson and his different models and .com secrets, expert secrets, he talks about having a value ladder and getting up to about a $25,000 mastermind group. I don't know that I'm ever going to go beyond $5,000 or $10,000 because there's just too much risk and liability and compliance issues when you go over that amount. But I like that $5,000 to $10,000 really valuable training package. And so the question is, how can you get more people to that level? And the answer has been from one of our partners. One of our partners that we do funding for is Pedro Adeo. And if you've seen anything online, he's been killing it with these challenges. And we're hearing this buzzword challenges, and it really is a challenge. I'm doing, as you guys know, listening to the podcast, the 75 Hard Challenge, which is a very big, difficult mental challenge where I'm doing 2 45-minute workouts. One of them has to be outside. It's Utah. It's been 30 degrees and snowing for the last few weeks. It's finally starting to warm up, but that's been a challenge, right? And drinking a gallon of water every day and sticking to a diet and saying no to chocolate and candy and sugar and white bread and pasta and all that stuff has not been easy at all. It's even made it more difficult for my wife to try and make sure we actually have food that I can eat. And so that's been a challenge. But there's power and magic in these challenges because people want to be challenged. They want to do the hard things and see great results and be able to say that they did something like that. And so Pedro has come up with this concept of, basically, values and introducing concepts and products and services and just delivering so much information and value and a transformation and teaching people how to do things that they never knew how to do during a 5 or 7 day challenge. And he's done it with Tony Robbins, he's done it with Dean Graziosi, Russell Brunson, and now everybody is offering these challenges because they're so powerful. And so my thought was, well, dang, I'm going to try this. I want to do a challenge, and I want to teach people the amazing opportunities in the funding business because that's what's changed my family's life and my life. And so I'm going to, start this 7-day funding CEO challenge model and see how it works. And I started to do the math, and one of Pedro's students is also one of our funding partners, and he does an amazing job. Steven does. And I was watching his latest challenge, and he was basically showing how he was carrying about a negative $75,000 balance on his marketing to get people into his challenge. And so I'm looking at that, I'm like, dang, what can I expect? And so basically the challenge is always cheap. Like it's $27, $37, really affordable to get into the challenge. Pedro in his last challenge even did it for free, but then you have different upsells in that front end model where they can get lifetime access to the training videos. They can get VIP backstage access to basically, be able to ask more questions, get more value behind the scenes after the regular challenge. And the way these challenges work is they're in these private Facebook groups, and you go live for me, it's 7 days in a row that you're going to basically go live, and you're going to teach amazing concepts and eliminate limiting and false beliefs that people have and transform the way they think and teach them entrepreneurial principles and show them a glimpse of a life that they can have if they engage with your product or service. For me, it's our Funding CEO Academy where they can learn to basically build a 6-figure funding empire, doing it from home, and not have to take a lot of risk. They don't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars in marketing to do it. I teach them how they can generate funding deals and build relationships with effort without spending hardly any money. And so it's super exciting. And I'm delivering all this software and a way to where they can leverage our team and our software and our model to be able to make a great income without having to reinvent everything and, spend tens of thousands of hours trying to learn it. And so it's this unique concept, and I, wanted to sign 500 people up for it, but I did get 250 people signed up for our first CEO challenge. And as I've gone live over the past, it's been about 3 days, and I did a welcome day, the day 0, so kind of 4 days, and it's really been remarkable. In the same period of time, we've built up a Facebook group now of almost 500 people, because people, start to invite their friends and family to join them in on this challenge. And I give them assignments, and it's not easy. And I ask them to take action, and I ask them to eliminate false beliefs that they've had. And I teach them new principles, and I ask them to build a LinkedIn profile that's going to actually convert people into clients as they build their business funding empire, and all these different things that I'm teaching them. And I don't know how it's going to work out. I'm very hopeful that a lot of them will join up and become funding CEOs and join our Funding CEO Academy, and we'll turn a profit with it, and I'll turn that negative $20,000 into some profits and build an even better community and an even better network of funding partners. And that's what I believe is going to happen. But there's a risk, there's an unknown. But what I've seen is, as I've pivoted each time with these marketing secrets, first webinars, then kind of the video sales funnel with multiple offers, scaling them up, starting them out super cheap, and then now this challenge model. I believe this challenge model is here to stay for the next few years and is going to be very successful. And the best way to build something really amazing and sell great products and services. And the crazy thing about it is it's a ton of work. Holy cow, I have to create all these emails, all these text messages, send them out multiple times every day. I have to keep people's attention, massive energy. I've got to convince guests and people who've gone through our programs to come on and share their experience. I have to coordinate and organize, and then you got technology and Zoom connecting up with Facebook Live, and then you got to give away gifts and prizes. I'm giving away a VR headset, a MacBook Pro, all these different amazing free prizes, because that's what draws people in, and of course the opportunity to change their life. And so really amazing. I definitely recommend you look into doing challenges. But I'm not going to lie, it's a ton of work, and you have to usually take risks and carry some negative money until you get to your offer and share something amazing with people. So that, my friends, is today's Marketing Secrets podcast, even though I'm not necessarily the marketing guy, but I've sure spent a lot of time, effort, and money trying to learn it. So take that, make it yours, and have an amazing day.
Are you looking for more 7-figure secrets, content, or even how you can launch your own recession-proof business? Then check out 7figures.com. That's the digit 7, Figures.com, where we share more videos, stories, strategies, funding solutions, entrepreneurial education, and even the secret business type that's recession-proof. Thank you for listening, and if you're finding value in our podcast, please give us a 5-star and invite others to join the club.